Thank you for joining me today. I know that it's a pretty crazy time all over the world right now. And we are fortunate enough to know that these videos go to almost all four corners of the world. And so I'm glad that you're joining us today. I know that your world is probably in a reasonable amount of chaos. You may be under mandated quarantine. You may just be kind of keeping things low, trying to protect you and your family. It's probably a difficult time no matter where you're at. We are going to continue to still film. My producer has been gracious enough to come in and film these. We have a very safe environment, and as long as we can, we're going to continue to film. I know that there's lots of uncertainty, and if you add the uncertainty of your relationship upon that, it gets really chaotic. And today I want to talk to you about how betrayal trauma can really make everything even harder. When you've been through infidelity, particularly as a betrayed spouse, you can be traumatized and experience what has become a very common word both in our world and kind of all over the infidelity message board, if you will, which is betrayal trauma. And betrayal trauma can absolutely be intensified by something like the coronavirus. And so many of you might be wondering, why am I feeling so much more chaos? Why am I feeling so much more trauma? Why do I feel like everything is a catastrophe? Why am I feeling like I'm catastrophizing everything in my life? And that's a very real element that you might be experiencing. So don't be too hard on yourself and think, I'm just blowing things out of proportion. Oh, it's just a difficult time. No, you may be experiencing another level of trauma. I can guarantee that if you have already suffered a sense of betrayal trauma, right now things are a little bit haywire. And it can kind of make you think, man, maybe I'm not healed, or maybe I'm not as far along as I thought, or, why am I feeling such intense emotions? I thought I was in a better place. One of the easiest ways to describe it is that, when you've been through betrayal trauma, there's a sense like the whole world is crashing down around you. And I don't really need to describe that because you know what that's like. And then couple that with the fact that it seems like the whole literal world is crashing down around you. And the intensity of the trauma, the intensity of the fight or flight or freeze reaction inside of you is off the chart. And so what I want to do is give you some things to do, but continue the discussion first on it's okay if you're feeling this way. It's normal that if you've been through trauma of this sort, that right now you can feel really out of sorts. In fact, when you've experienced this type of trauma, and you are sensing or experiencing this, all the good chemicals that you need that help us fight back against difficult things or empower us to do hard things like oxytocin and dopamine and serotonin, those things kind of crash and burn. And so we're experiencing just this depleted sense of, I don't want to do anything. I want to crawl into the fetal position and just hide, but then I can lay there and my emotions and my heart rate and nothing's helping. Number one, please understand it's normal for someone who's a trauma survivor. Number two, it's okay. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't shame yourself. That's not going to help anyway. I think if you were to ask yourself, is being so hard on yourself really helping right now? You'd probably say, no, it's not. Number three is be compassionate to yourself because you are the way that you are for a reason. You just didn't wake up one day and go, hey, I just am a total mess. No, you've experienced life-changing trauma and you have to accept that. Number four is to realize if you're a trauma survivor, all of this is a little bit more intense for you right now. And if you're an unfaithful spouse, the last thing that you want to do is resort to, you're just making a big deal out of this. Oh my gosh, one more thing. All of those responses are absolutely destructive and devastating and have no place in your life right now. For those that are walking through this, the heaviness is intense. It's like the bottom falls out of your life every single day, and new information about the virus and new exposures and new lockdowns and all of these things that are happening in real time continue to kind of re-traumatize you or re-trigger you. And you can kind of feel like, man, there's just no bottom for me to land on. And then you start to experience the really, really dark thoughts, and you start to question so much. And then when you've been through trauma, you actually see the world in a pretty negative way. Unless there's been a substantial amount of healing, you can start to kind of think, man, the world is just a dark place. I can't really trust anybody. Then you throw on the virus stuff, and then you throw on social media, and then you throw on all these allegations and all of this stuff that's coming down the pike. And all of a sudden, it just continues to reinforce the darkness that you see the world through. And you start to find yourself in an incredible amount of hopelessness and despair that's more than maybe just kind of betrayal trauma. Now it's just like you're cascading faster and faster. And then the unfaithful has no idea how to help you. And the unfaithful feels like, man, I don't know what to do. And they start to feel helpless. And then they can actually start to make things worse because they think that they're helping, but they're not. Or maybe they rattle off a few phrases that are not helpful at all. Or maybe they just experience their own fight or flight or freeze, and they don't know what to do. And now you can feel like you're a million miles apart while you're quarantined in the same residence. It gets really tough. Here's some very helpful things you can do. Number one, I would encourage you, if this is describing who you are, to have your unfaithful spouse filter out information for you. With stuff happening so fast, information being kind of disseminated out at lightning quick speed, that's not what you need as a trauma survivor. It would be helpful to have your unfaithful, or maybe a friend that you trust, or a family member that you trust, deliver information to you so that you feel educated, but that you are not inundated with all of that information, because I don't think you're going to be able to process it in a safe speed. Number two is be extra compassionate upon yourself. And if you're an unfaithful, be extra compassionate upon your betrayed, because right now you're probably not yourself. Right now, you probably feel like there's no footing, and being so hard on yourself and trying to just tell yourself, come on, stop being such a baby or stop being so emotional is not going to help. Own where you're at. Understand it's okay that you are where you're at and that you are a victim of trauma. The more that you deny it, the more that you reinforce that you're probably going to stay chained in that moment. Accepting the fact that you're a trauma survivor doesn't hurt you, it actually helps you. And then you can start to do some very practical things to help you climb out of that trauma, or even just right now, try and stabilize the effects that you are feeling every hour of every day. Number three is get uber practical. This is a good time for you to get fresh air. I know the weather might be sketchy. Getting fresh air, getting some sun, getting outside the house, obviously within legal boundaries that you might be experiencing in your area. Getting some fresh air, maybe working with your hands, gardening, maybe go buy some wood and build some things if that's what you do. Exercise, working out, maybe go buy some equipment to work out at home if you can still purchase something online, one of those little mini home gym or a push-up machine or something to try and stay active. Self-care is essential right now. Being choosy about the type of music that you listen to. Being choosy about the type of food. Now, we're all kind of dealing with some incredible difficulties in food supply and all of that. If you can find the comfort food that you like, buy a lot of that, because that may actually just take the edge off for you right now. This is a very real thing. You have to take these types of measures if you're going to be able to find comfort. It's okay that you're like this. It's not okay to stay like this and not do anything about it. It's vital that you or your unfaithful can take some steps. If your unfaithful needs to go wait in line for an hour to maybe get some comfort food from a particular store, hopefully they're still open and still alive, that you can get, then go do it. I waited at Costco yesterday for an hour. But I was able to get some things that really are important to our family, but are really important to Samantha. It's vital that you understand the need to do what you can, when you can, with what you have. Finally, it's important to stay grounded. Now, some of the things that I've already talked about can help you stay grounded. trying to find someone close to you who you trust that can help you stay grounded, that can maybe be extremely gracious and tolerant of things that you're going through, maybe when you're really darkened down, or maybe when you're being a bit cantankerous, or maybe when you're catastrophizing things. They can go, ho, hey, Samuel, hold on. Let's take a deep breath. Let's kind of walk this out a little bit. They can listen to you, but they can also go, hold on, buddy. I don't think it's that bad. It's going to be okay. Or someone that can just say, what do you need? Someone that you can rely on to vent a little bit, but there comes a point where they go, okay, I've listened. Now let me help you. Let me give you some perspective. Let me ground you. Hopefully that's your unfaithful spouse for some of you. For others, look at some of our courses. Get onto our website. You can communicate with people through our website. Let me tell you that an online portal right now is essential. A safe online portal right now, like affairrecovery.com, is essential to find help, to find support, and to just not feel so alone. As we navigate this crisis together, let me just tell you, you're going to get through this. You absolutely can and will. This is tough. This is dark. The thing about infidelity is all of these other sidebar issues only make the intensity worse, only make the trauma worse, only make the mood swings and the overwhelmment worse. It's essential right now that you can do whatever you can to self-soothe. You don't have to have all the answers right now. You don't have to fix everything right now. Unfaithful, you don't have to fix it. Maybe help soothe it. We're going to get through this. You're going to get through this. If I can answer any questions, reach out on one of our platforms. I'm happy to do it. I'm trying to spend more time interacting with people that are in crisis right now. Go to affairrecovery.com. Look at the online courses. Get on the group wall. Become a member. Reach out. Get the help that you need. You are not in this by yourself.